going on, Jerome's? So it's funny because it's an election year, and every single election, it's like this is the most important election in world history, right? Every single time, and every single NFL offseason, it's always like this is the most important offseason in team history. But this time, it's actually for real. This time, it's actually for real because the whole trope of like, oh, I can't wait to see the 30-30 documentary on topic XYZ. I can't wait to see the 30 for 30 on this offseason because things are quiet right now, but it's the calm before the storm because this offseason could change the direction of the franchise for many years to come. First off, so this is really Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's first real chance to remake this rooster. Now, I know what you're saying. It's like, well, Kwesi's had 2 drafts and blah, blah, blah draft picks and all that stuff. But I feel like Kwesi and O'Connell, they sold to ownership the idea of the competitive rebuild, where the Vikings could be competitive, they could win games, and all while churning over the roster, right? So trying to be half pregnant. And to a degree, not to a degree, to a large degree, they've had success. 2022, 13 wins, 13-4, wanting some more, winning the division. It's fantastic. And they did it with running it back with a number of veterans, whether it be Kendricks, whether it be Thielen, Patrick Peterson, Dalvin Tomlinson, Harrison Smith, etc. And then last offseason, they axed a lot of those veterans. And frankly, even with the sluggish start, I mean, the Vikings were playing some damn good football with the Niners game, with the Lambeau Packers game, and ay Dios mío, if Kirk didn't pop his Achilles, I don't think that the Lions run away with the division, and I think Kirk would have been a top 5 MVP candidate. I firmly believe that, but ish happens, and the Vikings had a myriad of injuries, and 7-10 happened, and it sort of is what it is. But now, after the Vikings have gotten out from some of Rick Spielman's bad veteran contracts, and they have some major decisions now. Do they run it back with Kirk Cousins for 1 year, 2 year, maybe even 3 years? Or do they just rip the Band-Aid off, take the void year dead cap hits from Kirk Cousins and maybe even Danielle Hunter and completely start over? So, I mean, there's so many things up in the air. First off, is Justin Jefferson going to sign his extension? And we said ad nauseum, it ain't quite about the money, because the money's going to be there. He'll be the highest paid receiver in NFL history. No muss, no fuss, no harm, no foul, right? Or maybe he's waiting for CD and Jamar Chase to get paid first. Who knows? Who knows, right, man? But I think a lot of it is he wants to know who the quarterback is going to be, whether it's Kirk, whether it's quarterback TBD, who knows? And there are so many options right now. Like, it's really hard to forecast what the Vikings are going to do because if they want to have Kirk back at a reasonable rate and Kirk is down to clown with that, talking about 25-30 million, then that is appealing. But if Kirk is truly looking for 45 million per year with heavy guarantees, and he's able to get that in free agency, whether it's New England or Pittsburgh or Atlanta, God bless him. Hats off. Go get your money. I mean, that's sort of been what his MO has been his entire career. So all this talk about trying to win a Super Bowl, trying to finish his career here in Minnesota, potentially taking a hometown discount. Yeah, that's all. So that was a effing lie. But again, if Kirk wants to come back at a cheaper rate, that would be appealing. That would also be appealing to Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell because I do think that Kirk, especially at a cheaper rate where there's other money to go around for either extensions or open free agency, that would be the best of everything, and you can still draft a quarterback in the future. But if Kirk leaves, then the Vikings have some major decisions because what do you do? Like, do you find yourself a bridge quarterback? Do you bring in Russell Wilson at the league minimum with the offset with the Broncos, $39 million? Do you bring in Gardner Minshew? Do you bring back a guy like Josh Dobbs and completely build the offense around him? Do you do that as well as making a move and potentially moving all the way up in the draft and paying through the nose to find your quarterback in the future? Like, do you trade all the way up to 2 or 3 to find if Caleb Williams falls, or Drake May, or Jaden Daniels, or do you maneuver around and still get Bo Nix, or Michael Penix, or J.J. McCarthy? Who knows? Who knows, right, man? But I mean, all those options could be on the table. They could have Kirk back, and frankly, if Kirk signs a 2 or more year deal, I would understand if they passed on quarterback and just completely tried to revamp the trenches and try to win this mother father in the next couple of years. Because another variable in this is that the NFC North is all getting better. I mean, Green Bay, Jordan Love, kind of looks like he could be it. The Lions obviously are reloading, and well, not even reloading, just they're there. Right, Ben Johnson ran it back. They maintained their core. They went to the NFC title game. They got a bad taste in their mouth. They're going to be looking for revenge next year. The Bears have the 1st and the 9th overall pick. They could have Caleb Williams in this division for many years to come. And if he's 50 cents on the dollar of all the hype that's around him, he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. So all of that factors in. And we haven't even talked about, hey, Daniil could leave for basically nothing. Oh, well, not even basically, yes, for nothing. And the Vikings need to revamp in the trenches. The Vikings will have some money to spend in free agency. Do they bring Antoine Winfield Jr. home, the All-Pro? Do they bring Christian Wilkinson? What about Justin Matabuke? What about everything? So it's just, this offseason is crazy. And I'm really excited for it because, yes, news has been slow as of right now, as the playoffs and the Super Bowl are progressing, but Senior Bowl is here. Soon it's going to be all the rumors about trades, about free agency, both in-house and open free agency. Then it's going to be the draft. And this offseason is going to be great because I have no earthly idea what the hell is going to happen with this team. But all I know is that Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, they got to get it right. Right? And 2022 was great. 2023 can be chalked up to injuries. But now, I mean, the Spielman guys are essentially being cycled out. So this is your guys' team. And Kwesi, all this talk about analytics and building the team that way, we better see some damn results. And Kevin O'Connell, you're supposed to be this offensive wunderkind. You're supposed to be this quarterback whisperer. Can you get it done without Kirk Cousins? Like, if you and Kwesi move all the way up for Drake May or Jaden Daniels, can you build the offense around him? Or are you just going to try and jam a square peg in a round hole, sort of like what you did with Josh Dobbs and even Jaron Hall, trying to fit them into the Kirk Cousins offense? Who knows? Who knows, man? But I'm fired up. Like, there's so many variables, but that also means that there's so many things that you can be hopeful for. Like, the Vikings will get it done. If I was a betting man, I don't know, all season long, I thought it was like a near certainty that Kirk Cousins would be back. I'm starting to get a bad vibe, though. I feel like teams with cap money to spend, you look at Washington at 2, you look at New England at 3, maybe they aren't in love with whichever quarterback falls to them. And maybe they want to run, especially New England. I mean, getting Gerard Mayo off to a hot start. So why don't you just take Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kirk Cousins and have him on a 3-year deal and see what happens? I don't know. I think going into the offseason, I was on record and saying I think it was like 85-90% that Kirk is back. Now I think it's 50-50. And I'm good either way. Hey, if Kirk comes back and hopefully it's a reasonable deal, let's do this damn thing. If Kirk leaves and he gets his money, God bless him. Hats off. Let's go get our friggin' guy. Let's go make a move and go find our quarterback of the future. But that's it. Raw, real rant. The most important offseason team history. You guys know what to do. You guys are the best. Skull, no production value.